beginning to unfold. It's beginning to unfold. Yesterday, El Rufai granted an interview, and so did Feni Fanikaude, for all it's worth. First thing you need to know is that it's none of your business what happens in the APC. Let them sort themselves out. We have an election to face 3 weeks from now, and Nigerians are going to cast that vote and decide who is going to run this country. Under no circumstance, under no condition, under I'm lost for words, should we allow anybody railroad us. Otherwise, we should have a clear direction of where we're going. So the question now is, so what exactly are the issues? El Rufai was talking about people in the presidency. I think he was just being very polite with his words and being diplomatic. El Rufai was talking about the president. Because the two major issues that he spoke about, amongst others, are the issue of the foreign currency. The president has come to say that it was his idea. And he has said clearly that it was to stop the manipulation of voting, where money would be used as some form of influence.
As a newly redesigned note.
As really newly redesigned note.
Yes.
Sorry, I keep hitting you, but
it's fine.
It's fine. You know, so the president was very clear. If you want to face him, face him. Okay? El Rufai said the president should have carried the governors along. The governors were the main targets. The governors were the main targets, amongst others. Okay, so I now remember something that Babangida said. You know, I'm beginning to like Babangida. It's beginning to look very good in my eyes. It's taken a while for me to forgive him on that journey of whatever it is. But sometimes I look back and with nostalgia, Babangida said this, and I quote, "We don't know who is going to take over from us, but we know who will not." Now listen carefully. He said, we don't know who will take over, but we know who will not. We are an African country. We are an African country. Let's talk to ourselves like adults now. We know what democracy should be, but we know what democracy is. Apparently, it looks as if President Buhari, I don't know whether in the past or now, is very uncomfortable with the Tinubu presidency. From his various actions, from all the things that, it is getting clear that, to put it politely, he is not comfortable with it. The question is why? Does it have to do with the various revelations that you are now seeing? Or does it have to do with the fact that the candidate himself hasn't been that diplomatic, right from the time of Olule to the time of, over and over, and then the various gaps? Are these things making him uncomfortable? Then the next question would be, didn't he know that from the onset? If he knew that from the onset, as the president, there are things he could have done to prevent that. We are talking like adults here now. We are not talking to. There are things he could have done. When I remember what Obasanjo did to what could have been an Odili presidency, Babangida himself knocked some people out for whatever reason, right or wrong, in a diplomatic manner. There are these things, if you were uncomfortable with this guy from the onset, even if you didn't want to tell him straight to his face, there are things you could have done. But Buhari was indecisive. I believe very strongly, I support Buhari in this move to change. And if it was left to me, I wouldn't. And if it was left to the fact that it had been done thoroughly from the onset, I wouldn't shift any date. How many months do you need to change currency? I mean, come on, give me a break. Like I was telling you ladies and gentlemen yesterday and Sheriff here, this exercise is not for you to go and bring bags and bags of money and now leave with bags and bags of money. It's for those of you, okay, the currency is going to change, take note. So as you keep up the transactions, it gets to a date when you will say, sorry, I can't use, nobody will even give them to you. Until that date, you have money. But it was sabotaged. And it was sabotaged to force the president to shift the date, or to shift it either in a shorter time, or to shift it, because for some people, that's what they rely on. For those of us who have our ears to the ground, you don't want to imagine. And I'm sorry to use this symbolism. but it's there for everybody to see. If do you know how much money you would put into 2 billion vans? Remember that they go back to the video of the 2 billion vans. They are not the convertible ones. These are the food vans. Do listen to the there will be nothing on that side. This is not possible. I don't get anything about this. Believe that it's something like this. Do one revolution about 2 times last week. Go back and check the videos that are circulating. Go back and check, and so there is not going to be. If there's going to be a revolution at all, it definitely won't be from one of those who have held us down for so long. And there will be no revolution because there's no need for it. That's why we have democracy. We will cast our votes. We will cast our votes at the appropriate time. And so what El-Rufai said yesterday, yes, it's not telling anything new. Of course, it's not everybody in the presidency that would support their bid. It's a free world. But he was referring to the president. And the issue of the currency, it was the president's idea. He has owned up to it. Leave Emefiele alone. The president has owned up to it, and he needs a backing on this. Or else you're going to be in eternal slavery. In all honesty, you're going to just find yourselves in eternal slavery. So that's as far as that goes. And he also talked about subsidy and